Hey YouTube, so an amp demonstration. I don't know if you've noticed, but you can't even see it because it's too dark. This is a Peavey Valveking VK112, so it's a 50 watt. I think it's 50 watt all valve amp. I did do a shootout with this before because I'd already owned this before I got the trade in the orange, and I kind of chose the orange, I don't know, just because it looked cooler. But I'm not really sure. Yeah, so it's a 2-channel. We've got a bright switch, which is actually on, and a channel select on the clean channel, and then there's the lead channel has a gain boost, a volume boost, 3-band EQ, gain and volume. So got a 3-band EQ and a volume in the clean channel, and 2 inputs. The input 1, I'm assuming, is for passive guitars, and input 2 sounds like it's got like a pad on it, you know, for active guitars. I'm just plugging straight into it. Actually, I'm realising that I had my pedal board plugged into it, it was really noisy, so I think I need to get a new power supply for my pedal board. I think the one that I got, which I thought was going to solve all my problems, is just not a very good one. It's dead hissy. So, clean channel, bit of reverb on it. Obviously the sensible thing to do would be to, I would play a guitar that other people have. You know, I'd play like a Squire Strat or a Mexican Fender or something like that. So instead I'm playing a one-off hand-built corker, which I'm 99.9% sure nobody else has one of these. I'm pretty sure it's the only one in the world. So it's just a 1x12 speaker. I'm just running it on its internal speaker as it is. I've actually found out I much preferred the orange when I moved it to there. I think my left ear works better than my right ear. Maybe not, don't know. This amp is much more versatile than the orange. The orange doesn't. The clean channel's just got a bass and a treble, and then the dirty channel. That's kind of it. It kind of does one sound really, which suits me quite nicely because the soft take only does one sound, but I like that one as well. This one has much more scope for changing things about. So getting single coils in. But it sounds fantastic though. I tried that bright switch. Oh yeah. Wow, this has got a thin neck compared to the acoustic I've been playing this morning. This guitar really needs new strings as well. So if I ditch the bright channel, I'm going to the drive channel, bridge pickup. To me, the distortion's a bit more modern sounding. I remember taking that into the studio with Cranking House and thinking it sounded a bit like a guitar shop, as in a sound kind of other people use, which I kind of like my sound to be the sort of one that's just for me. But really, like, I don't think the valve distortion channel is necessary, really. I'm quite happy with solid state for cleans, or a rat pedal into the valve thing. Something the rat or a distortion pedal does to a valve amp isn't what it does to a clean at a solid state amp. I very rarely use like the drive section on any of these amps. I'm just running it clean because I'm normally running a loop pedal into it, which means I could put a clean as a backing track and then use the rat pedal or a fuzz pedal or something to overdub. And that's the gain at, I don't know, less than half, and the volume at nothing. No, maybe less gain, maybe? No gain. More volume. Does it clean? Reverb's a funny thing though. This reverb's basically at only just on, so the reverb in this goes to ridiculous levels. Where's it? Not the best switch. Obviously, it's foot switchable. I do actually have a foot switch for it to switch between the clean and the dirty channel. It's just a button that's kind of in on this. There's a big switch which is nice and easy to see. You can actually physically look at it and go, clean, dirty. Whereas that's kind of a bit more. It's just a push button, and there's no light, which I only just noticed there, which I would have thought a couple of LEDs in there maybe, just so you know whether you're on clean or gain. Reverb, so if I put the reverb at half, reverb at full, and then I'll put it back down to where I want it to be, which is just on. Yeah, so I mean, I've had a couple of Peavey amps over the years. Actually, the one I had before that, which actually kind of looked the same, it was in the same range, was a Royal 8, it was called. Like a very basic, not as basic as they go. I think it had a volume and a tone, and maybe even a gain. I think it had 3 knobs on it. Just one of your wee, it was an 8-inch speaker. Those wee amps in my, I'd say that, I did have a shot of my pal Jerry's Fender Champ once. It was really good, but all the other wee amps I've had, they're a bit shit. It's like, you want to get the valve distortion, you have to have them up loud enough, and when you, even if it's only 5 watts, if you have it loud enough, you're up at drum kit level to get distortion, so it's not really any use in the house. So I'm not a huge fan of them, although I did have a Black Star that I actually quite liked, a 5-watt Black Star. Which was good. It didn't compete with that or Mulaney, or nothing competes with the Softtech, which I should probably do a wee video on the Softtech actually, seeing as I've brought it back through. I should be using it. It's not at its full potential, and here it's 60 watts, and so it's basically only just on when I'm playing it in the house. It wants to be up much louder than that, which I think this is well. I mean, if you're talking about, for me, the ultimate gigging amp, it's that. I mean, it's got like an external speaker cabinet on it, so you can run it into a 4x12 or something like that. I think actually I'm not sure whether it actually disconnects the internal speaker when you plug something in. I should probably investigate that further. I know that does. Well, that one's actually just got like there's like a plug on the speaker, so you just literally unplug the internal speaker and then stick in a 4x12 cabinet. That one, the speaker's hardwired, so I'm not sure when you stick into the external cabinet things, it must just disconnect the internal speaker. But I mean, even at that, the internal speaker is well gig enough, well giggable. Peavey have got a funny name. I don't know what they're like now, but they certainly, when I started playing the guitar, you used to always, it was the era of the ones with the sort of the pointy logo, kind of looks like it says Peavey, and it's got like a turquoise band like along the top of the controls or whatever it is. That level, and I think most of the ones I've played through are broken. I remember my pal having one and it was shit. But I mean, you don't know how broken these things were. You know, I'd only played the guitar for 6 months and didn't know anything about amps. So, was it using wrong? Was there something broken with it? But Peavey have always made cheaper and more expensive amps. This would be one of the more expensive, it being valves, because I'm a valve snob. Although I need to try and fix the Carrollton. I'm pretty sure it was me that broke it when I tried to replace one of the pots. I think I've maybe made an arse of it, because it was fantastic. It was solid state. The problem with these things is it's the amount of volume you use them for as well. That's what it totally works in the house, which is, you know, not a gimme for a big amp. But it sounds good at low volumes, even though this isn't probably technically low volumes. You know, it's not like, you know, something like the wee Black Star Fly. Arguably that's the bass one. The guitar one sounds better at this volume than any of these amps. If you're talking about you're watching TV at a normal volume and you just want to play along with it but still be able to hear the TV, none of these amps can really do that. Even if you can get the volume down low enough, they're not working properly. You know, it's like, I always seem to use it's like trying to crawl in a Ferrari. You know, it's like to do a 3-point turn. It's like, it can do it, but the engine's barely working and you're burning the clutch out. Just trying to, you know, that is kind of like that a little bit. Whereas obviously ripping around a racetrack, the Ferrari's having a great time. Playing at a gig, this is having a great time. After I got it fixed, after the thing went in fire, I got it for. I'll be honest, I was greedy. I bought it because it was ridiculously cheap, like 60 quid or something like that for a valve amp, and it's ticking all the boxes. It's the 1x12, which is, I like that. It's all tubes. It's got a couple of things in the back. It's got like a Class AB dial and something for looseness and tightness, which I've never really pressed. I think, to be totally honest, part of my reason for using the orange is simplicity. There's not very many options on it, so I don't have things to worry about whether I've got it set right, whereas this one has more things on it. Not that many more. I do quite like that bright channel though. Tone it. I should really have set up a second camera to look at the amp so you can see it, but I mean, you look them up pretty easy. It's got a really nice, it's got a big bejeweled power light on it, which you can't really see there. Again, the reason, one of the reasons my wee Laney has been sort of retired, apart from the fact that I think there's a valve needing replaced in it. It's really noisy when you just turn it on. It's like, there's like a hum on the clean channel, which isn't on the distortion channel, but the distortion channel doesn't have that spanky thing, which this one's got just now in the clean. But it's like having the knobs on the front is the big change for me. I think one of the reasons the Laney valve is burst because I left it on too much, because I, sitting there and it's like you can't see whether it's on or not because all the controls are along the top. Whereas on these, it's got a light on the front. Actually, on the Royal 8 one, this LED, it was such a bizarre thing. I was just taking a video of it before when I took it to bits because what was I doing? It didn't have a handle. That's right. The handle on the top had been taken off one of these, so I had to take it to bits to put another handle on it. And the circuit board inside it there was nothing in it. It was like, it wasn't actually physically that much smaller than these. It was a wee bit, 2/3 of the size, but it was like, it looked like a football pitch. So you had like a PCB that was, this size, and it had a couple of lines across it, and then like going to the 3 knobs, but most of it was just, it literally looked like a football pitch with lines on it. That was it. And there was like a power, the bit with the 2 valves, and then like a transformer, and that seemed to be all it was in it. And the LED was actually, this one might be the same. The LED was actually there at the back point. This was just the same jewel, I think it's called, and basically all it is just like a wee glass fake ruby thing. That's all it is. And the light bulb was an LED pointing at it, but it was sitting like 4 inches away from it. That's how bright that LED was. I wonder if that one's the same. I think it might be, because when you go down, it's like the power you get in LEDs these days is ridiculous. That one, if anyone's seen my the Hello Kitty guitar I had that I put laser eyeballs in, they were just standard LEDs, but they were so bright they honestly just burnt your eyes when you looked straight at them. That was part of the point of it, but really, if you're talking about having some sort of smoke machine on and having that, it's total aliens. So I'm going to stick in my usual pedals. This is more like a test to see whether this would work for me. See, it's picking up noise from the pedals. So it sounds a wee bit louder. It's probably to do with the loop pedal. My loop pedal's got a master volume on it, so I might be running what's coming out the pedal board, even though none of the pedals are on, might be a wee bit louder than what was on before. That's it, the rat pedals, man. My main jam, innit? That sounds wonderful! So as I was saying about this, I got it for a pure ridiculous price. The guy said it had cut out on him at a gig he was doing. He played the intro to Brown Eyed Girl, and then it just freaked out. It cut out. So basically he just went on, used his he was like a wedding band dude. He just went straight into the desk and then never really thought about it again. Then 6 months later, I'll just sell that. Get rid of it. He did say there was maybe something wrong with it, so I put it on. It sounded flipping great. I was loving it. And then I had it on for the evening, and then I don't know, a couple of hours I had it. It was sitting on. The valves had heated up to being red hot. There was something wrong with the trace, been damaged. It's all been fixed and certified by Ollie at Frettronics, so it's now up and running. So the amp itself didn't end up being a super bargain. It was 250 quid I ended up paying for it, which is, I think, actually, to be honest, quite a decent. It's a good amp for 250 quid. I mean, if they could be had for that, I would go. There's your amp. That's what you want. What you're gigging. It's awfully good. It really is. I think I'm just kind of a little bit soured on it because I spent like 3 or 4 times as much on the repair as I did on the amp, which is just. But I mean, it was either worthless. I try and sell it for 50 quid, not working, or I fix it and then see what it's like. Really, I think the inside snobbery of me says orange. That's cool. Peavey, but that's not the case. If it's a good amp, it's a good amp, and I love it. It's amazing. And I would that was basically, if I didn't have that though, I would probably still have ended up with the orange. I got that as a a trade for a Gibson SG I had. Somebody offered me, so I really want that SG. I'll give you an orange amp, and I looked it up and it was like, wow, the orange amp's worth more than what I paid for the SG a good bit. I've already got, I don't need another amp, so after a couple of weeks the guy got back to me and goes like, right, I totally want that SG, I'll give you the orange amp and a Yamaha Revstar and a broken Peavey Telecaster. So I basically fixed up sold the Revstar and kind of broke even and ended up with a Peavey to sell and the orange amp for free, which is, I ain't complaining at all. I do still kind of wish the orange amp was orange rather than being black, but hey, no, I'm not complaining, obviously. Yeah, so I'm hopefully going to do this Saturday. I'm hopefully going to do a live stream tomorrow night to see if I can drink it download next week. So I'll probably spend the rest of this afternoon doing videos to fill out the rest of the week or something like that, because I'm going to go and see, I also want to do not a reaction video, I don't like reaction videos, but Baby Metal's new song with Electric Callboy. It's like a collaboration rather than a guest thing. It's fucking brilliant. And I'll be seeing Baby Metal on Saturday, I think. Exactly a week from about now, actually. In fact, I think a week by now I will be at Baby Metal. They're just my favourite. And I'll not be taking the corker with me. That would be silly. Although I did, thinking about it, I did walk through Harrisburg. This didn't have a case, just carrying this, and then took it on a bus, on a Greyhound bus to Newark, and then walked through Newark carrying this thing, which is a bit silly. But I did it, and it was good. People comment. Whenever you walk about with a guitar without a case, people comment. This guy's like, oh yeah, my dad used to have one like that. And it's like, no, he didn't. I didn't say that, obviously. It's like, your dad didn't have a corker, mate. No, there's only one of these. He maybe had an electric guitar that was brown. Yeah, didn't have one of these. Yeah, see, I've not played this guitar enough. It's been my main guitar now for 6 months, something like that. Obviously I've got the Kraken, which is also hand built and only one in the world. So I'm totally spoilt for choice. I have too many guitars and I can't even keep strings on them. I can't get rid of them. I mean, obviously there's some you just can't ever sell. I can't ever sell this. I mean, technically I suppose I could sell the PGM because the chances of being able to find another one are possible. That's it. You know, money no object. You could probably replace most guitars, but some of them you couldn't replace one of these. I could replace that because I could just get Dave to build me another one. I'd have to pay for it though, but I mean, even then. But this needs a little bit of work done to it. Basically, it needs new strings. I'm going to polish the frets. Is really all it needs. This is a wonderful thing. Anyone ever comes out to the house, I used to have my Washburn Falcon kicking about. So anyone who came round who was dropping off guitars to get repaired or something, look at this. It's now look at this. Because the thing about the Falcon is, it's stunning. One of the most beautiful guitars ever made, ever. And it's got so many ridiculous features on it that are just like, whoa, how expensive was that thing? This has all those things as well, apart from there's only one of them, as opposed to the Washburn Falcons, which they obviously sold. I don't think there's that many. I heard somewhere there was 20,000 Washburns made by Yamaha. 20,000 in total. That includes all the Falcons, the Eagles, the Hawks, the stage series, the A10s and 20s, and acoustics. So there's maybe a couple of thousand of them, sort of thing. Which you go, a couple of thousand, that's not rare. Compared to any guitar you can buy now, oh my god, it's rare. You know what I mean? I don't know, if you just look up like a standard Gibson Les Paul or something, I remember looking it up. I think it's tens of thousands a month they produce of them, and they have done for 50 years, you know, and it's like, you get something like this, which is handmade, and there's only one of them, and that Handmaiden was only one of them. It's like you can't really, you're not comparing like with like. And I suppose the argument would be had is this multitudes and multitudes better than, I don't know, the wee Yamaha ERG? It's not 100 times better, whereas it costs 100 times as much, easily. 110 times as much, but you know, it gets that way. You know, trying to get a car to do 150 miles an hour is quite easy. When you want a car that does 250 miles an hour, oh, that's a difficult thing to do. Kind of like that. Enough of the car analogies. So basically, if in the thing where I look up, you know, guitar, and decide that, you know, the thing that Andertons do all the time, you know, your luggage has been impounded and you've got a gig tonight, but guitar are willing to help you out and supply you with a, you know, a guitar and an amp. I would definitely I'd be looking to see how much that amp is. If not that one, something like that is the amp I want for gigs. I want something that's 30, 50 watt. Preferably with a speaker in it. Softtech doesn't have a speaker in it, but I mean, that's the sort of thing. It's like that and that. Okay, you can see this is twice the size of this. Yeah, but this is a 12-inch speaker in it. This does not. So the whole idea about turning up to a gig and there isn't another cabinet there. Oh. Whereas with this one, I don't need to take. It's got a speaker. If there's a cabinet there, if there's a 4x12 there, I can plug it into the 4x12 cabinet and use it. But for me, the extra hassle of having to carry, you know, an extra that amount is insignificant compared to carrying that anyway, because you're already carrying a big heavy bastard amp anyway. You might as well make it that much deeper. It's not making that much difference really, and it could mean that you don't need to take a speaker cabinet with you. So I mean, it would be an amp very much like this would be my go-to amp. I don't even know what I would be looking at, how much one of them would cost. I don't think, I mean, you're probably talking about 500-600 quid or something like that to get. I think, is it Bagheera make a very popular amp? This is sort of, I think Bagheera has something to do with Behringer, a cheap valve amp. I assume it's made in China. I think that one's made in China as well. It's also got a spring reverb unit in it, which is a Bellcat one. Whereas it looks basically exactly the same as the Accutronics one that's in my Carlton amp. But it's made in Britain and it's all shiny. That's like a Bellcat, which is just like a cheap Chinese company. And saying that, I've got a couple of Bellcat pedals and they do pickups. They seem pretty good and it's only reverb. But I like it. I don't need any more reverb than that. I mean, the pedal I'm using has shimmer and room and hall and a few dials of, and it really is. No, I'm quite happy just with a reverb with a knob, like a spring reverb is totally what I want. Just a little bit. Now that's not a lot of reverb, but I need it. Once you get used to it, like once you start putting tomato sauce on things, you have to put tomato sauce on your chips. You can't have them without it. Yeah, I mean, it's totally ridiculous. What I think there is, I think Peavey might have done, this could be absolute horse knob, but I think the volume control maybe has a different gradient on it. Which means that basically when you're going up, say you're going between 0 and a quarter, it doesn't actually go to a quarter volume, it goes to a 10th volume. And then when you go up to half, it's probably nearer a half volume, and then, you know, for power, it just seems more sensible. So there's more play in the first couple of inches. Oh, that's Cameron here for his guitar. It's been half an hour anyway. Rock on, and I will see you tomorrow night, and I will see you during the week for other videos.